I mean, like I'm riding the train, I'm going from point A to point B, and people are going, yo, ain't you the dude from Channel Live? Yo, what happened to y'all? When y'all dropping the next joint? Oh, word? Yo, you know what you should have did. You know what I would have, like, oh, word? This is what I should have did? This is what you would have done? Really? Okay. And have to experience that every day of your life.
That's pressure.
Dealing with the fall off is hard. You know, I got a pound of weed in my bag. but
are you saying that caused some depression?
No, I was depressed. I was depressed for years. Depressed and not know it. You know, going from place to place. You know, losing apartments because I can't pay rent. You know, teaming up with other people who depending on you to come with your portion of the rent and you can't. So you get evicted. Now you're homeless. Yeah, I went through all that.
The Touré Show. Okay, though. The Touré Show. Okay, though.
That might be the best question I've ever been asked.
You're a phenomenal person. I mean, you legendary.
I am a fan of you, my brother.
Hakim Green from Channel Live has been my friend for decades. Great MC. The whole story of how he came up as an MC and how KRS-One helped them get into the game. I didn't know the whole story. His rise is fascinating. Everybody remembers him for a song called Mad-ism. How did that song change his life, and why did he fall into a deep depression after the most successful moment of his life, at least commercially speaking? It's a fascinating conversation with an important rapper. Let's get into it. My man Hakim Green on Touré Show. Hakim.
Yeah.
How are you?
My old friend.
Yes, hell yeah.
Brooklyn.
Hell
in the
yeah.
building.
Hell yeah. There's definitely, I'm glad to be in the same room as you, because there were definitely days when I was walking through Fort Greene and someone would go, yo, Mad-ism. And I'm like, what's up? And I'm not him, but what's up? It's all good. It's all love.
Light skin, not as light as me, but light skin thing is just,
You are what, 30 years in hip hop? 35 years in hip hop?
I'm older than that, bro. I've been in hip hop culture since 79, 80.
Well, I mean, in your life, you lived it.
So I separate.
Professionally,
that's the music business.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
So we say hip hop culture.
Forever.
That's
always.
Before we called hip hop hip hop.
Right.
We talked about the music business. I got signed in 93, excuse me. Got signed in 93. No, not signed in 94. Mad-ism came out summer of 94. Album came out 95.
Wait. You said 79, so do you remember hearing Rapper's Delight or earlier than that?
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember when Rapper's Delight came on in the car with my mom, my sister, and I was like, what the hell is that? Right. You remember that?
I remember you had to memorize Rapper's Delight. You had to know it word for word, the entire 15-minute version.
But now, were you, because you grew up in New York.
East Orange, New Jersey.
New Jersey, close. Were you aware of rap culture before Rapper's Delight?
Yeah, the first person I heard rap was a brother by the name of Mike C. from East Orange, New Jersey, legend. And I heard him, like literally I was in the sandbox and I could hear him. He had a gruffy voice, I was like 9, 10, he was about 12,
This
13,
is 78?
79, 80, and he was rapping. And me and my boy Devin walked over to Mike C. and he was spitting bars. And I was just amazed. And
you were born in 71?
69.
69, so you're just a touch older than me. So we remember there was little rapping before Rapper's Delight. Like when I heard Rapper's Delight, my thought was a whole song of it. Yeah. But I had heard little syncopated bits from a Dizzy Gillespie or maybe sometimes James Brown was like, that kind of is different than saying, right? And there was different little moments was like, he kind of rapped a little bit there, but then Rapper's Delight was like, they did the whole song?
It's a whole new thing.
But in thinking back on it, I'm like, it didn't seem like every song is sung and then this song is rapped. Rap was starting to poke up its head before Rapper's Delight.
Right, you had Fatback Band, King 10 the Third. He did a rap on that particular piece, and trying to think of what other songs where there was some type of rap or scat.
Even maybe a little Chuck Berry, maybe.
But the whole idea of rhyming, whether it was jokes, we used to snap on each other.
Yes.
You'd snap on each other and rhyme. You had what's the legendary comedian Dolomite?
Yes.
Rudy
Yes.
Moore. And I don't know if you saw the movie.
The Eddie
Dolomite
Murphy
movie. Eddie Murphy.
for sure.
Oh my God, it's an incredible movie. Big shout out to Eddie Murphy for doing that. But in telling that story about Dolomite, they get into how you had these they weren't called raps, but they would rap these jokes, but they were passed down generation after generation.
Right.
So it was like, if you knew these raps, you were like the man. A lot of comedians got their start telling these little mini raps, which were just like comedic pieces.
So for me, I was growing up in Boston, right? And all the rappers were from New York. And I associated it with something that badass New Yorkers did. So it was like, I never thought that I would do that. Even just at home, I'm like, that's what New Yorkers do. When did you say, oh, I could do that?
So there was a crew called the Stardust Three. Timmy T, Dickie, who just passed away, rest in peace, Asiatic, and Buddha Black. That was Tim, Tiny, and Dickie. And they kind of adopted me as like the little young cat coming up.
How old?
I was 10. Like after I saw Mike C rap and I figured out what rapping was as this other thing, and I'm like, yo, I want to do that. I want to learn. And these different crews, the Raleigh Racket Club in East Orange was a place for local artists. Our Lady Hubbard Christians was a place for local artists. They do concerts and shows every once in a while, and you see these posters, these promo posters, and you just see the local talent, and you want to be like them. And they kind of adopted me, and I wrote my first 2 rhymes. I was probably 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
I had a Frankenstein rhyme, and I had a popcorn rhyme, and on and on and on and on and on, like the hot butter pop, the popcorn. That was a big thing.
You wrote that at 10?
Well, yeah, it was borrowed because if you listen to a lot of the old rappers, on and on and butter popcorn, and that was kind of like a consistent thing going on in people's rap. So I had my own, and I had a Frankenstein rhyme that I still know.
Okay.
Yeah, Frankenstein was no friend of mine. He taught me how to freak. We danced all day, we danced all night, took lessons twice a week. When you learn from the best, forget the rest, and that's no doubt. Because when lightning struck on Frankie's head, that bad boy turned it out. I was 10 years old.
You wrote that at 10?
Yeah, 10 years old. Oh, yeah.
And it reminds me of...
Yeah.
What was that one? Oh my God! With
Super Rhymes by Jimmy
the
Spicer.
aliens, yes, that right.
Well,
you know what I'm talking about?
Super Rhymes. It's the real thing. Makes you want to swing. Well, us NCs rap doing our thing is not singing. So everybody had like the radio.
Jam on it.
Jam on.
Jam on it.
Big shout
Jam
out
on
to
it.
Cosmo D.
Yes. And they were talking about aliens from outer space. And
that, like I said,
that was that tone
that was
of
one
that
of my
day.
workout records.
Yes.
Yeah, Jam On is one of my workout records.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that record still rocks.
But that was that tone, like you said, that vocal tone was like the radio broadcaster's voice.
Right.
Jimmy Spicer had it. Cosmo D had it. Sugar Hill, Rappers Delight, Sugar Hill Gang, they had it. Yeah, so.
And Mel took a different direction.
Yeah, he had that. Yeah.
A little more of like a singer a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right? And when we get to Run DMC, now we get to the more modern talking, right? They seem like they were talking.
Yeah.
It was not radio. It was not...
So you have groups and artists that I consider page turners.
Yes.
Run DMC was a page turner.
Rakim.
Mel was a page turner. Rakim was a page turner.
Who else is a page turner?
Slick Rick was a page turner.
Because of the stories?
The story, cadence, his flow, the way he laid his vocals, the way he sat in the track. Nobody was really delivering rhymes like that. Layering the vocals on the track, giving you these different personalities within the verse. Mm-hmm. Almost like he's talking to himself as he's ad-libbing his own verses. Mm-hmm. There's like a conversation within it. Like Slick Rick is still considered one of the greatest of all time, storytellers.
For sure.
NWA. Page turning. I was not a big NWA fan, and there's reasons for that. We can get into that, but they turned the page in a huge way.
Wait, is this personal, or you just
Nah. It's just that at that point, like when I look at people ask me, who's my Mount Rushmore,
yes,
or my top, whatever, and I kind of frame it wherever you were when you were like 16, 17, 18, 19. whoever the artist was that you identified with is probably going to be your greatest of all time, because the transition from childhood to manhood and, you just have an emotional connection to, so you get the Chris, Rakim, Kane, Slick Rick, Cool G Rap, Chuck D, of course. Like, that's like the epitome of lyricism, MC-manship. Like, that was it. And then with that came consciousness. So like, I wouldn't use the word nigga or bitch for like 10 years because of the impact of the music tied with the activist movement, being involved on that level. So to hear rappers who kind of use nigga as a crutch, it was a turnoff to me.
Okay.
The profanity was like shock value. They would say things that was more about getting your attention and really relaying a message.
Who are the MCs who you look at as like your teachers or your North Stars? I listened closely to these guys, and that helped form who I became as an MC.
KRS-One.
Okay.
Chuck.
Chuck D.
Kane. Big J. Nas. Yeah. So a nice little Snoop's flow in cadence is very reminiscent of Slick Rick, but I think he's taken it to a whole nother level. So I think Snoop doesn't get the credit he deserves as an MC. But that's kind of...
Who are some of the other page turners? Because in the 80s, the culture's developing. So there was an opportunity. Turning the page was almost easier because it was so new.
Yeah.
When you get into the 90s and double O's, and the whole nation is doing it now. It's not just a New York, LA thing. It's harder to turn the page.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
who are turning the page for you, in your mind, as we go on further in the history?
Kendrick just turned the page.
For sure. For sure.
He just turned the page, and I don't even know. I don't think we'll ever get back to that old chapter. I think that's kind of like we've moved past.
You think we're in a new era of hip hop because of the battle?
Yeah, like, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of either person's battle raps. Like, I wasn't impressed by anybody. Game impressed me. I think Game came with that shit when he went after Rick Ross.
Okay.
Ross's was cool. Kendrick, I like Kendrick. I love Kendrick as an artist. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's one of this era's greatest.
For sure.
Right, but he's not speaking to me, so I don't completely relate to him as I would like a Kane or Rakim or KRS, right? But when you start hearing, middle America, white school teachers talk about their white students and how they went from Team Drake to Team Kendrick overnight, and you see Not Like Us, like everybody uses that, to stand for something greater than whatever they're using it for at the moment. It embodies a whole idea of we're not like that. They're not like us. We're on some old other shit. Like, the whole nation has adopted that. Like, the world, the Olympics is using it. Like, it's, it's, yo, man, the brother did his thing. He did his work.
He did.
Big shout out to K-Dot, no doubt.
When did you meet Tuffy?
I met Tuffy at Montclair State, 1989.
So that was college.
In college, in a dance battle against Wyclef and Proswell.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I knew Wyclef from Club 88 in East Orange, New Jersey. And he was always in the ciphers doing his whatever. So I had to go take Joke out. I think I had to show him how I get down.
This is a dance battle.
It's a dance battle. And then Proswell was actually in high school at the time. So him and Wyclef kind of team up against me. And then Tuffy was there doing his 1-2. So I pulled him in, and then we started battling Wyclef and Pros. And then, we, of course, crushed these jokers.
Of course.
Of course. And then I didn't see Tuffy for, a few days, ran into him at one of the dorms at Montclair State. And I'm like, yo, dude, I'm trying to get up, trying to look. I was dancing for an artist named Nicole, who had a big dance
So you're a serious
record.
B-boy?
Yo, yeah.
Like,
I was getting my scuba scrap. IOU dances.
Spit on the head?
No, I didn't spit on my head. I didn't go that far. And actually, let me correct that. I wasn't even a B-boy like that.
Okay.
I pop lock, electric boogie, but with house music and hip house. I'm from Jersey, so we deep into the house. Like, that was my thing as a house dancer. And then following the Scoob and Scrap and IOU, them taking the different moves and doing these hip-hop routines behind artists. Like, I adopted that. Me and Tuffy were dancing for this singer named Nicole, traveled the world dancing for her, and then ended up dancing for the New Style before they were Naughty by Nature.
Okay.
So I went to high school with them, with KG, Vinny, Tretch, and everybody in East Orange knew that I was the guy on the dance floor. So I got recruited to do background dancing for them, danced for them for a while, then started dancing for an artist named Princessa, brought Tuffy along with me for that. We were out in Texas, out in front of Texas Stadium where the Cowboys played, in a limousine, just listening to the radio, chopping it up, waiting to go inside our show, inside the venue. And OPP came on. And I'm like, yo.
That's my boy.
Yo. Like, people gotta realize this is, to hear your record on the radio
Huge.
in New York on a Friday night, Saturday night, huge. To be in Dallas, Texas, hear it midday radio on a pop station, OPP, blew my mind. So at that point, I figured it's time to trade the dancing shoes in for the pen and the paper, and that's when I seriously approached MC.
You had been rapping, but then you were like you were in college?
I was in college, yeah.
20 years old?
I was 19, 20.
And you were like, let's be an MC.
Yeah. Because, I dancing for Naughty back when they were the New Style. Like, so they did a show for Red Alert's birthday party that year, whatever year that was, 91, 92, whatever that was, as the New Style. And when they got bought out as Jersey MCs, New York just boo, 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 pennies, tomatoes, duck, right?
New York was so wild.
Yeah, New York is hard by. That's why for the rest of the country, as much as you have issues with New York's acceptance or lack thereof, New Jersey gets it the worst. So
it's like we hate our little brother the most.
Oh, man. He said, New Jersey, boo! So then we ended up performing at the Apollo a couple weeks later. And the idea was to open up with the dancers. So I went out, me and my boy Bubby and Fred and Toby and Finster, and we did our routine and we murdered it. This shit was crazy. And then Tretch, Vin, and Kay came out after the dancing. So in my mind, like my showmanship, how to work the crowd, I've been on stage, hundreds of times. Like I can make the transition from a dancer to an MC. It's just a matter of, switching the talent, switching the energy, switching the expression of the culture. And started going off the head with Princessa. And then Tuffy thought it was hilarious. Oh, now you want to be an MC now. Oh, now you rap. First you a dancer, now you a rapper. It was jokes. So I started doing my little demos, writing Tuffy's verses for him. Got tired of writing Tuffy's verses. Like, all right, you got to write your own shit, bro. He started writing, and then we went through our different phases, which eventually became what you know as a Channel Live. Yeah.
How did KRS come into the picture?
Well, I was a school teacher.
What were you teaching?
Social studies and science.
Middle school?
Middle school, junior high school. Yeah, and I started an after-school program with some friends of mine called Act Now, African Children of Tomorrow Now. So when I tell you, like, the culture, the Afrocentricity, the consciousness, it just wasn't about rap. It was really about activism, education, elevating the people. Like, I was in a bunch of different organizations, campaigning free Black political prisoners and prisoners of war, going to African Echoes, study groups, and it was huge. So going through those experiences and realizing that there was something missing from our own educational experience at East Orange, we wanted to recreate something for the next generation. So we started this after-school program, Act Now, African Children of Tomorrow Now. Part of it was taking these young folks to different Afrocentric lecturers, Dr. Ben, John Hibbert Clark, Ivan Van Sertima. We're going to Rutgers, we're going to, anywhere we can catch somebody dropping some knowledge. We were trying to, KRS had Human Education Against Lies. He did a lecture tour at Ramapo, William Patterson, Montclair, and we were at every lecture with like 25 kids. And I would always raise my hand, have something to say, a question, some type of, he got used to seeing my face. When he got to Montclair State, that day, everybody's going, Hakim, I know you're going to the lecture. You know your boy's coming. I know you're going to the lecture because I'm, KRS-One stan. I'm the biggest fan. Everybody knows it, right? So I get to the lecture. I go all the way in the back so I don't want to play myself, sit up front, look too thirsty. Chris walks in, sees me standing in the back. Hakim, I've been looking for you.
That sounds like Chris right there. The big,
I've been looking for you. Man, it's like 300-400 people in the auditorium. He erupts. Oh my God, he knows Hakim. He knows Hakim. People are coming up to me while the lecture's going on. I know you're going backstage. I know you're going backstage. You're going backstage, right? So we go backstage, me and Tuffy. And he's like, look, I'm doing this lecture tour. I'm doing a couple dates with Leonard Jeffries. And, since you're a school teacher in the system behind enemy lines, I would like for you to open up my lectures for me. So I was opening up KRS's lectures. That's how our relationship started.
Wow.
Right now.
So you were doing speeches to warm up folks for Chris.
Dr. Leonard Jeffries and KRS-One.
Wow.
Yeah, huge. So he goes
around Jersey and New York too?
New York. It was New York, New Jersey. I did like 3.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't too heavy.
Okay.
But, it was just the start of the relationship.
Yeah.
But which is also crazy about that day when he invited me to do it is he goes like, so what you guys doing later on? Like, I got a show. It's some club promoter, some kid wants me to come rock out. I told him I'd come do a set. Some kid named Puffy.
Oh, wow.
So that was Puffy's first party at the Red Zone.
Wow.
KRS-One, Funkmaster Flex. I think it's the first time Funkmaster Flex DJ'd like his own thing because he was a helper to Chuck Chillout. That's how he got in the game.
Wow.
Through Chuck. But that night was like Flex's first. Flex, Puffy, KRS-One. And that's the day my relationship with KRS-One starts, which is crazy. But yeah, that's how it kicks off.
So how does it move from we're doing these intellectual speeches together to, I actually do music?
Right. So Tuffy and I had already been recording, doing demos with a production company called Character Music. And they were primarily R&B dance, right? They had a group called the Formula R&B Group, of which Carl Thomas was a member. That's how I met Carl Thomas in 1990, 91. So Tuffy and I were signed to them as rappers, but they didn't really take rap serious. Like hip-hop hadn't exploded yet. It wasn't mainstream. It was still this niche little thing going on. And if you wanted to make money in music, you didn't do rap.
Right.
It's not what you did.
Right.
So, Charles released us. But jokingly, he said, you boys with KRS-One, why don't you go follow him and chase him down and see if he could do something for you? So that's what I did. I chased him down. I go to any time Chris had a performance at a club, I show up. If he's at a lecture, I show up. And I got my demo in hand. At one of these events, I hit him off with the demo. I get a call back probably it was like months later on my mother's phone, hanging on the wall with the cord.
You're taking me back. We used to have the phone on the wall. It didn't move. It would ring. You didn't know who was calling.
There was no call ID. You didn't know who was calling. I pick it up. May I speak to Hakim Green? Speaking. This is KRS-One. I'm sitting here at D&D, just chopping it up. I want to know if you and your partner Tuffy like to come through and maybe record something. Pew! We was there. And that's when we start recording.
I'll be there in 7 minutes.
Yeah, more like 5. Really.
And y'all started recording that night?
Yeah, we started recording that night. We started working on the demo. And we did our demo probably over like 4 or 5 months. We got 5 songs that was the demo. I have a friend, Amelia Moore, who you're probably familiar with. She's been around the music industry for ages, worked at Bloodline with a DMX when that was going on. Done a number of other things. She was working at Atlantic at the time with Kevin Woodley. So I took the demo to her and got a meeting with Sylvia Roan. She passed on it.
Okay.
And Chris was pissed. Oh my God, he insulted. It's KRS-One. How dare you waste my time? What's wrong with these people? Amelia had a friend, Malik Levy, who just got hired at Capitol, sent the demo to him. I get a call from him about 2 weeks later. Like, how involved is Chris in this project? I'm like, well, he's producing it. We're signed to his management company, Front Page Entertainment. Big shout out to G. Simone. And he was like, well, I'd like to come out, meet you guys, and I want to sign you. So he flew out. We did 2 meetings. Next thing you know, we're talking deal points.
Wow.
And it all went down.
At this point, with the 5-song demo and all that, did you have Mad-ism, or that comes a little later?
Comes later. We had a song called "The Blunt Is on Fire." The blunt, the blunt, the blunt is on fire. Quickly pass the lighter, let the Philly blunt burn.
That's hot.
But, Tuffy and I were like super lyrical miracle, big fans of the hieroglyphics, big fans of that whole movement, casual, just that whole thing was next level to me. Chris, of course, as a lyricist, we're trying to use, multi-syllables, double entendres. You got to peel back the layers and really find out what we mean. And Chris is like, yo, y'all too educated. Y'all too wordy. You got to dumb this shit down. Y'all gonna go over niggas' heads.
That's deep that he said you have to pull it back.
KRS-One said,
dumb it down.
You got to dumb it down. KRS-One said, you have to dumb it down.
But
got to pull it back.
He as intelligent as his work often is, he often communicates in shorter words. Right? And simpler, and it's not a lot of double entendres with him, right? And so it connects directly.
Yeah.
And I can see where you're like, you making me think, you make me pull out the dictionary.
Yeah. Well, also being signed to Jive Records at the time, right? And going from, the KRS-One success, record selling success, and then things kind of slow down. And then they signed Too Short, they signed E40, they signed, I think, Spice One. They signed these other acts who have a greater national appeal. And there's reasons for that. New York is like a thing unto itself, has its own culture, it's its own bubble. If you're not from New York or you're not really connected to it, you don't really get it, right? Where the rest of the nation, no disrespect, the rest of the nation is like the rest of the nation. Once you get past like Newark, and even Jersey, like Naughty by Nature, jail suits, lock around it. Naughty by Nature had a huge impact nationally. West Coast embraced because the culture is more relatable. New York is just another beast. It's different. It's harder to relate to the rest of the country. So when you got the Spice Ones, the E40s, the Too Shorts, they're saying things that the rest of the nation wants to hear, which means more record sales. Doesn't mean that one is better than the other.
Right.
Doesn't mean that. It just means marketing and promotion is easier to have an effect. And then Chris, seeing that with his own career, didn't want the same thing to happen to us. So he was like, listen, you got to tap into where people are. I know you're here and you want to elevate the people, but you got to bend down to where the people are first, capture the imagination, and then take them to where you want to take them. That's something that Scott LaRock taught Chris. And that's why Criminal Minded is Criminal Minded. When you think of KRS-One, Knowledge Reigns Supreme, his whole journey, living in the library, soaking up all his knowledge, how did he come out with a project called Criminal Minded? My 9mm goes bang. Like, Scott LaRock's a super
Pussy is free.
Like, put a P is free. You know what I mean? Like, because, Scott LaRock, a college graduate social worker, has said, hey, listen, I know you want to take people here, Chris, but you got to go to where they are first, reach them, and then bring them to where you want to be. And Chris was sharing that same jewel with us.
So how does Mad-ism come out? Because you're saying you're talking about smoking
weed
in a little bit more complex way?
I was the weed, so all the metaphors was, I'm comparing myself to the weeds, the types of weeds, the, stickiness, the crystals, I forget what the rhymes were, but, I'm breaking down. Tuffy's the blunt, so he's splitting your back, down and he's wrapping you up, and he's, dumping you out, and everything you do to a blunt. And then the third verse is what happens when you put the two together and you smoke it. So that was The Blunt Is on Fire. And then Chris, when we were working on the album, he was like, nah, man, y'all too educated. Y'all too many words. Y'all gotta dumb this shit down. All right, listen, we're gonna do another weed record, and this is gonna be your KRS-One collaboration. I'm gonna show you how to do this. So he chops the beat up. You got the SB1200. I'm not gonna tell you what the sample is. But
why not? Wait, why not?
Because I can't remember it right now. Firefly by the group. I can't remember the group
I thought
right
you
now.
were gonna say I'm still I'm not gonna tell you because I'm protecting our secret sauce.
Yeah. I could front and say that bullshit.
Okay.
But it's really because I can't think of the name of the group right now. But the name of the song is Firefly. Right. So, we load up the sounds. I Got You Open by Black Moon. We get to Enter the Stage by Black Moon. I Got You Open is this, and we get to all we do is spark madism. Big shout out to Buckshot, the Beat Miners. And it was like, bring that back. All we do is spark madism. That's it is all we do. That's the hook. And so we write the verses. And Chris, like, you gotta grab people by the hand and you gotta show them, you gotta like walk with him. Like, episode starts when I walk down the block, reach in my pocket, yo, where's my knot? Everything's real simple. Channel 1, channel 2, simple. Channel 3, channel 5. Okay. So Tuffy and I trying to be smart asses, we write our rhymes like super, super dumbed down, like silly shit. Like I'm writing like, I'm gonna write this shit so silly, Chris is gonna say, all right, fuck it, just do it the way you wanna do it. I give up, right? So we go in to spit the verse. I spit the verse. And I get to wake up in the morning, got the yearning for herb. He turns this shit down. What? Yo, you bugging! You wildin'! I'm thinking he's mad at me, right? Yo, you need to start your verse like that. I'm like, yo, this guy is killing me right now. That was in
the middle of the verse.
That's the middle of the verse. Wake up in the morning, got the yearning for herb. I wrote that on some trying to clown. Like, I'm trying to sound so corny. Like, who says yearning for herb? I'm yearning. Like, who says that? What is it? The Gap Band?
Yeah.
Yearning for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I know what
Michael Jackson, yearning, like.
But he said, make that your first line.
That needs to be.
So he's really A&Ring the record.
He's A&Ring the record. He's producing the record. A&R and producing. Like, he's producing the vocals, producing the song.
Producing, for sure.
Yeah. And
make that your first line.
Make that your first line.
It's a very grabby line.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he knew it. He knew what he was doing.
And you put a lot of melodic sauce on it, right? Because you kind of wake up in the morning and then you go up. Got the yearning for herb, right? So you go up and down, and it makes it very kind of sing-songy but catchy, right? Because if you did it in a straight tone, it's different.
Not the same hit. Chris's other direction was I should rhyme like I'm standing on the edge of a mountain, standing on a cliff, like almost yodeling. He was like, you want to project your voice. The tone of your voice needs to be projected. Your very unique voice, a very, just, it grabs people when I project.
That's what he does.
Said, yeah, he said, I need you to project like you're yodeling, like you're on the side of a mountain just trying to wake up in the morning. And so I delivered it like that. And that's how it comes off.
That's interesting. Yeah. You do have that push, that projecting push in that bit until you get to Chocolate Tie where you pull back. Tie. Right? Like the tone pulls back. So like I'm coming at you with different flavors, different flow.
The inhale. That's the Nana high. Nana high starts to settle. When you feel that high, it's like Nana high starts to settle.
You know, if I as a listener thought, wake up in the morning, got the yearning for herb, like if I thought he's silly, when you come back with, which loosens up the nouns, metaphors, and verbs, I'm like, yo, he's smart. I'm rocking with him.
Because I was a school teacher.
Right? Like that, like now he's talking about how the weed, which it does, right? Loosens the creativity.
That's right.
And he didn't say creativity, like nouns, metaphors, and verbs. I'm like, okay, now I'm rocking with you.
And adjectives.
Right.
Ain't it magic, kid?
Yeah, I mean, when you said that, I'm like, yo, I'm all in.
Nice. Yeah. It's KRS-One. He coming up under the teacher.
Did he say you go first?
Yeah.
How did that happen? Because it's always a conversation. Do I go first? Does the partner go first?
Oh, no. Well, Chris went first. Because
I understand. Of course it was him because he's a superstar leading people into the record.
I don't know why, Tuffy and I, we were always conscious of, being balanced in how we presented ourselves. Like Hakim can't go first every time.
Of course.
But Chris, because, the relationship is really Chris and I.
Okay.
And it's not no disrespect to Tuffy's relationship with Chris. They have their own relationship. But the connection is with Hakim. Hakim's the school teacher. Hakim's the guy who, like, I'm the guy dragging the anchor.
Okay.
I'm the leader of the crew. I'm the one who got to knock on the door.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's got to make it happen. And then once I test the waters, people come after me.
That record, too, a lot of times you'll say the star who's introducing the newer act will do a verse, and then there's a chorus, and then the new act comes in, right? You don't do that, right? He's doing a verse, and he hands off directly to you, no chorus, which is an interesting way of, like, getting you in.
Well, we wanted to break that because rap had become verse, hook,
Right.
You know, real R&B in its presentation, how like standard R&B, verse, hook, well, without a bridge, verse, hook. So we wanted to break that and do something unorthodox. And Chris was very intentional about not coming with the hook right after the first verse. You know, we did Free Mumia the same way, where it's unorthodox. The hook kind of comes out of nowhere. You don't know what to expect or when it's gonna come. And we just let, you know, we let ourselves breathe on the record, like live, spit your shit, you know, get that off. And, you know, you want the hook to come back, but no, I'm gonna jump back in. And then Tuffy's gonna come after me. And then
It's different.
Yeah, it's different.
This record, I mean, your shirt says Madism. That record has changed and defined your life in so many ways.
Oh, for sure. Mr. Green, Hakim Green. You know, after the blow up, you know, at the other side of the, you know, hit wonder. And then, what am I going to do? And then every time I show up, people go, nigga, I know you got the weed. I know you got the weed. Nigga, where's the weed? I know you got the weed. So I started selling weed.
Right.
So I started selling weed.
Right. To some people in this room, baby.
Yeah, go Brooklyn.
That was a long time ago, but for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So when you started selling after the record,
I had to pay rent, dude.
because people expected you to have it.
Brooklyn rent is no joke, my
For
dude.
sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
so it was like, no, okay. I need to hustle somehow, some way. I look crazy if I go get a 9 to 5. I wasn't gonna go back teaching because you go back to teaching, which I could have done, but I would have been perceived as a failure. I don't want to be perceived as a failure. So, you know, I wanted to still live in New York City. I still wanted to party. You know, I still wanted to live the life, but I got to finance the life. How am I going to finance the life? Well, I'm the Madison guy. Sell this weed.
But it's interesting that the perception of all we do is smoke, whatever, led to an expectation from you that you were like, well, all right, I'll sell it because everyone expects me to have it, so let's go.
Yeah, it fits.
And it fits. The rapper selling
fits.
weed.
Yeah, and I get to smoke for free. So,
but take it back a second, because school teacher trying to break in, the record was a massive hit. It was a massive hit. So, and almost right away, right?
Yeah.
You talk about how your life changed from before the record to after.
Yeah. After you're talking about experiencing the success of the record.
Yeah.
Oh man, the life that you want to live, you know, I wasn't raised in New York, but I was always enthralled with New York. I always wanted to be in New York City. And, you know, having the hit record allowed me to live the life of my dreams. It's what I wanted to do with my life, you know. I wanted to be in the music business. I wanted to be a socialite in New York City. You know, I wanted to have freedom, and it allowed me freedom. So that right there was a huge switch, a huge change for me. But, you know, with freedom comes a lot of responsibility. And I wasn't prepared for the responsibility.
Like what?
Well, you know, there's the culture and then there's the music business.
Right.
The music business is how you make your money. The culture is the culture. So I'm getting love from the culture, you know, respect from the culture. But once you can't sell records anymore, you know, you have to figure things out. And Tuffy and I hadn't really mastered the business part of the music business. The culture part we had tight.
For sure.
The business part, not so much. So we had to, you know, bump our head. We had to experience the lumps of the ups and downs of the music business.
I mean, there is some pressure of, oh, you made a big hit. Do it again.
Do it again.
That's very hard.
Right. And the hit, as much as it's about the creativity of the song and the artist involved, the hit really is about marketing, promotions, PR.
Yes.
Right. It's about having a system a machine behind you that can push you.
It's not just we came up with a catchy chorus. You gotta have.
That's the easiest part.
The
hard part is, getting on radio, getting the video to the video outlets, getting the magazines to write about you. It's setting a project up. It's having sales team calling distributors and one-stops in the main chains and buying your records and getting you the right position or shelf space. It's so many parts to this puzzle that has very little to do with the actual creativity of the record, right? So when you're signed to a major label and then you get dropped or you get moved around, can you keep yourself relevant? Did you, steal these contacts? Did you tap into the network? Did you see how this thing was set up so you could replicate it as an independent artist? And we hadn't done that. So now once we went from Capitol to EMI, we did an entire album with EMI. They got sold to Virgin. They dropped us in that whole transition. And we didn't have the team around us that could help us sustain the success that we experienced at Capitol with Madism and station identification. So it's having to learn all of those parts. And when you have the attention on you, like I'm riding the train, I'm going from point A to point B, and people are going, yo, ain't you a dude from Channel Live? Yo, what happened to y'all? When y'all dropping the next joint? Oh, word? Yo, you know what you should have did? You know what I would have, like, oh, word? This is what I should have did? This is what you would have done? Really? Okay. And have to experience that every day of your life.
That's pressure.
Dealing with the fall off is hard. I got a pound of weed in my bag. but
are you saying that caused some depression?
Oh, I was depressed. I was depressed for years. Depressed and not know it. Going from place to place, losing apartments because I can't pay rent, teaming up with other people who are, depending on you to come with your portion of the rent and you can't, so you get evicted. Now you're homeless. Yeah, I went through all that.
You was homeless?
I was homeless.
For how long?
I mean, let me see. Off and on for a number of years. Now, when I say homeless, I wasn't sleeping on the street.
No.
I had a floor that I could, that's how Carl Thomas and I had an apartment on Clinton Avenue. It was really Carl's apartment. He was like, look, just put your stuff in storage. You come stay with me. So I put my stuff in storage and I slept on his floor until I Wish I Never Met Her came out. And then I went back to 506 Washington. It was me, Benny, AJ.
Benny Boom. Video director extraordinaire.
See, when I talk about learning the business from behind the scenes and opening up other doors that's not about me being an artist, Benny Boom got his first video, Wild Out 2K. That was Channel Live's last video when we were signed to Flavor Unit. So we had our third deal with Flavor Unit in 99. The album came out in 2000. We hooked Mike City up with Carl Thomas. I Wish I Never Met Her came out. Mike City produced 7 joints on that Armageddon album featuring Method Man, Carl Thomas, Queen Latifah, Black Rob, Benny Boom as an MC, and some other artists. Time to do the video. Hakim wanted Q-Tip to do the video. And watching Benny's grind behind Hype, Little X, Paul Hunter, Chris Robinson, all the video greats, me having some video production experience working for Classic back in the day. I'm like, nah, we could do this video ourselves. Shah, just give us the money. So Shah agreed, gave us the money. Benny directed Wild Out 2K. That was his first video. We started a production company, IBC, and Guerrilla Flicks. Guerrilla Flicks was the film company. IBC was the music company. And that opened up another door for Hakim as a producer. We talked about Nas Got Yourself, me writing the treatment for that, also being associate producer on the Scarface.
You wrote the treatment for Got Yourself a Gun.
Yeah, Got Yourself a Gun, yeah.
But so these projects are getting you on your feet.
Yeah, I mean, it's put money in our pocket.
Now I'm okay.
Well, I'm still selling weed. In my weed game, guys, like still, I went from nickels and dimes and, eighths to pounds. And I was like, one of the top weed dealers in New York City from like 2000, 2001 to about 2005, 2006.
You were distributing?
Yeah, oh yeah. I was
Not
No, I wasn't doing. I was the guy.
Not customers.
I was the guy. Like I was the guy. People would come see me for pounds.
Can you say where you got it from?
I had to connect up in Canada. So my boy Dale Davis.
Oh my God, I haven't heard that name in ages.
Big shout out to Dale Davis.
Super promoter,
Oh, yeah,
super
yeah.
club
My
dude.
my guy.
Knew everybody.
So he had somebody showed up on his doorstep that got robbed. Somebody from Canada came to New York, got robbed for like 50 pounds of weed. And so they got another 50 pounds that they're trying to figure out what to do with it. So he calls me like, you've been selling weed and you got the customers, can you help them move these pounds? I'm like, pounds, dude, I ain't never moved pounds like that. Like I got small clientele. So he was like, look, just make it happen. So, dude ends up in my house with 50 pounds of weed. And then for about a good 3-4 years, every 3-4 months, dude comes down with another 50. And we just moved them jokers. So, I was like, I don't want to shout nobody out, but all your favorite rappers were seeing me for weed. I wasn't the only guy, but I was one of the major cats doing it. And then that opened up doors for me and Benny in terms of him as a video director and then me doing music and hustling tracks and doing other things. Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne was a customer.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that side hustle?
Loved that side hustle.
Loved it.
I mean, it was easy peasy, I'm selling weed. I'm just doing me. All we do is spark madism. It's a natural fit. It's easy. And that led to Lil Wayne naming his album The Carter, because in one of those transactions with Wayne, I had this idea about the Carter, New Jack City, that I really wanted to share with Jay-Z, but I couldn't really get at Jay like that. But sitting with Wayne, I'm like, yeah, you ever think about naming your album The Carter? He was like, Carter, why the Carter? Like, your last name is Carter, right? He said, yeah. I said, well, Cash Money Brothers, Cash Money Records.
In New Jack City.
New Jack City, they sold from. Cash Money Brothers sold all the work, out the Carter.
Carter.
Right. Yes. Yeah, now we 5 Carters deep.
Yes.
Right. So just in terms of my imprint on the culture.
Yeah, I'm everywhere.
Like Benny Boom, Lil Wayne, Carl Thomas. KRS-One. 106 in Park was created in my house.
What do you mean?
AJ Calloway is my roommate.
Shut up.
When AJ Calloway left, Lee Harris, the creator of 106 in Park, moved in.
Shut up.
Yeah. So it's like, that 506 Washington Avenue between Gates and Fulton, you spent some time up there.
For sure, no doubt.
It was like a nexus point for a lot of great shit that happened.
Was that side hustle not stressful? In like,
no,
if we slip?
No, I did slip. I got robbed for 20 pounds.
What?
Yeah, I got robbed for 20 pounds.
Gunpoint?
No, it wasn't gunpoint. Well, wasn't gunpoint, though, as we reflected, I think he had to jam me on him because he was like, yo, can I use the bathroom? He goes to use the bathroom, right? And I think he went to go, get this, and he comes out. And then I just did something dumb. And we got bam. Dumb was, you're supposed to sit there with dude right in your face. And you're supposed to count everything right there. Let's just say I got taken with counterfeit money.
Oh, you got robbed because you sold with bullshit money.
The person gave me bullshit money. It wasn't good.
It wasn't a strong arm.
It wasn't a strong arm, no.
Okay.
But I had to deal with shit after that. So I had to pay money I didn't have to the Connect so they didn't think that I stole it.
Right.
Right. And then, they wanted retribution. They wanted to get their shit back. They wanted to. So it was like, do I get involved in that? Do I let them deal with it? Like, how do I deal with that? Like, because now, I'm Hakim Green. I'm not gangster. I'm not a thug. I'm not a strong arm cat. I'm not walking around New York City with the gat on me. That's not how I move, right? But now I'm in a situation where, like, I might have to start moving like that because I don't know who's coming next. So that happened to me. The very next day, I get a phone call from a friend of mine who runs a barbershop. And he doesn't really know what I'm into. He calls me, he was like, yo, bro, I don't know what the fuck you doing, but niggas was in my barbershop talking about running up in your crib. Yeah, so we was doing Cheetahs, party promoter, Cheetahs, Club Envy with AJ and Dale, And you know, of course, I had my work with me at Cheetahs. Like, you know, you see Hakim up in the club, I'm good to make, you know,
what's up?
You know, $2,000, $3,000 a night just selling weed. Right. You know, I'm over in the corner making it happen.
Right.
And Joker started like, yo, you know that dude Hakim from Channel Live is getting it. Word. Oh yeah, yo, we gonna follow him home from Cheetahs and run up in his shit. So my guy told me I was supposed to renew my lease. I had a house on Hall Street. I moved to Hall Street right off of Myrtle. And I had just renewed the lease like 2 days prior to getting robbed. Canceled the check, got my money back, and moved to Jersey City and just laid low for like the rest of that year. So like those kinds of stresses started to kick in.
Were you not afraid of the police?
Nah, because so I got arrested twice with weed on me, and then what I learned was that anything under 8 pounds in New York City is a misdemeanor. At that time, it wasn't really serious. I had gone through the Tombs, gone through Brooklyn House, you know, 72 hours, you out. You know, you go back, you see the judge. If you had no priors, then it's like, it's nothing. It's like they call it ACD, it's acquittal, something, whatever. Like if you don't get in trouble for a year, it's wiped off your record. So having that experience, whatever, I ain't afraid of the police like that. Not over no weed. You know, I don't do coke. I don't do pills. I was never into like the other hard drugs. That's not my thing. I stay away from it. Weed is like, don't do that anymore. And you keep it moving. So.
You still smoke?
Oh, yeah.
You still sell?
Oh, yeah. But differently now.
How do you, but because it's legal. Is it legal in Florida?
It's legal. It's legal in Florida, but not recreationally. They have a medicinal program in Florida.
Okay.
Right? But I teamed up with a company called L Train out in Michigan. It's legal in Michigan. Their retail system is far beyond other states in that regard.
Okay.
So we just launched officially the Madism cannabis line in Michigan last month.
Isn't it fucking nuts that
it.
we used to sneak to buy, sneak to smoke?
Now you can go right there in Times Square.
We could smoke out in public, right in front of the cops. There's
walk
weed
through
shops everywhere.
Times Square, bro. And it's like, yo, apes, quarters, what you need? Got the loud, got the...
Every block got a weed store.
It's like the Diamond District.
There can't be that much demand as there are weed stores, at least in New York City. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are illegal, but still operating.
They're getting it.
Do you still love hip hop?
Yes, I love the culture of hip hop. Rap, music business, no, not so much.
No, nobody loves the music business.
Yeah.
But being in the music business has extinguished the love of hip hop for many people.
Yeah, see, I know what hip hop is. So once you connect with what it truly is, which is expression. It's how we express creatively, business, how we dialogue. It's verbal and nonverbal communication. It's art. It's dance. It's, being able to take nothing and turn it into something. It's the ability to take something and recreate it into something else and put your spin on it. I love that. I love the process. I love the outcomes of it. The culture of it. The business of rap music, it's capitalism. It's It's exploitative.
But being in the industry has not extinguished your love of the culture.
It did.
And also...
It did, and I rediscovered it.
Okay.
It did. So that time I was depressed, and you're chasing Madism, the hit.
Yeah.
And you're locked into the business of it, and you're not being successful at the business of it. Yeah. And then falling on my ass, going through the trials and tribulations, and then having the opportunity to record again and be creative again and find my voice again, has freed me. Like, I found who I'm supposed to be.
You were part of a special era in hip hop, right? When we were developing, it was no longer regional, it was becoming national, right? The lyrical miracle, all that sort of stuff. People were really pushing to the nth degree of their mind to really develop the culture. It's not quite like that anymore. And some folks our age are like, I don't really like the music now.
Right.
Are you still able to love the contemporary music?
The stuff that's on the radio, no.
No, fuck the radio.
Right.
Fuck the radio in general.
But yeah, so yeah, like talent and skill is never not there. It's always there. It's just you have to go to find it, right? So in the 80s, when hip hop was at its purest, you couldn't readily access it. Right? You had to look for it. You had to go to where it was. Well, it's back to that. You got to go to where it is. You can't, you're not going to turn on the radio and find it. You're not going to turn on social media and it's just there. No, you have to know where to go. You have to know who's creating that shit, who's moving the needle, who's doing different shit. You got to know. And when you find it and you plug in, it's as dope as it's ever been. It's as dope as it's ever been.
Who's contemporary that you love that it's as dope as it's ever been?
I mean, I don't know if you call Lupe Fiasco.
He's not contemporary. Just because he's been around for a minute.
He's been around for a minute.
I know he just released, but he's from a previous generation.
So, in my opinion, the most hip hop movement out is the battle rap movement.
Okay.
And what they do on the battle rap in the battle rap arena is like next level.
Okay.
Because it's like you gotta go after this person. You have to memorize all this fucking content. All this, you gotta write rhymes and memorize. It's all new. And it's like verse after verse after verse after verse. And the energy behind it, you got the Loaded Luxes, you got the, Mook, Murder Mook, you got O Solo, you got, it's so many. I like B Dot a lot as a conscious MC who's a battle rapper, but he's conscious. Shit's crazy. Back to Loaded Lux to be able to come at people on some street shit, but elevate their consciousness. That shit is crazy dope. Smack as an organization, big shout out to Smack and Beasley, what they've been able to do in terms of creating a platform that's been generating all of this money for themselves and the artists that are affiliated with them, and they own it. That's just to be applauded. It's just to be commended. So yeah, that's the battle rappers to me are the epitome of what hip hop lyricism is about. I would like to see, because I do 24 Hours of Peace in Newark, New Jersey, right? Peace Festival, peace, love, unity, safety, having fun. And at some point, we're going to do a battle rap where you got to compliment each other.
Okay.
You got to raise each other up.
Okay.
Uplift each other.
Okay.
Instead of tearing each other down, we're going to battle by lifting each other
That'd be kind of interesting. You're so great. Let me tell you how great you are, how good looking you are, how dope you
But see, Loaded Lux kind of does that though, in a weird type of way. Because he's like telling you, like you say you all this street shit, all this negative shit, but I see this in you. I see that in you. Did you know you really this? When your mother was out there doing this, that, and the third, you could have been doing this, that. But now that you did, like, there's a way to approach it where it doesn't come off corny, doesn't come off like, it comes off hard body, like lyrics, bars. You could touch people in a way and uplift them, and that would be more impactful than, destroying people. Let's figure out ways of uplifting each other first.
We're here now at this time because you're in town to do something with KRS later today.
Yeah, well, KRS has a show at NJ Pack, a free concert. It's a summer series thing that they're doing.
It's dope to me that after all these decades, y'all are still close. You're about to go hang out with Tuffy. Y'all still, so some of the core relationships are still very strong.
Yeah, my wife jokes with me all the time. Like, everybody I introduce her to, I've known for like 30 years. Like, everybody's like, oh, my boy, I've known this person. I know since you were a kid, since you were a child. Right.
But that's dope.
But we've had our ups and downs. I've gone times where I haven't spoken to Chris for like 4 or 5 years.
Well, that happens. Right. With Chris in particular, that's going to happen.
Tuffy and I have gone through things we hadn't spoken to each other for like 4 years. Carl and I have gone through things we haven't spoken to 4 or 5 years. Like, you go through, but that's when you know who your family, your real friends and family are, because you can go without speaking to them, and then when you reconnect, it's like you would never were apart.
Yeah.
So it's good to have those types of relationships, and they've maintained, and to look back on our past, our history, to see the impact that we've had on the culture and on the business. Yeah. I'm happy with how things turned out.
For a lot of people who come on this show, I ask them about what it means to you to be Black. And as somebody who has been immersed in the culture your whole life and, you know, all the intellectual activist sort of stuff that you are deep into in teaching, and obviously you're at home reading as well. What does being Black mean to you?
Being Black is everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. It's not just a skin color, because as you see, I'm high yellow. I'm high yellow. Yeah, I got a little tan, but you know.
You're not mixed.
My father's half white, half Black.
So you're a quarter white, because one of your grandparents is white.
Right.
Okay.
And I've never met him. My father's never met his father. So,
okay.
But you see my dad, you saw my father.
I had the same shit. One of my grandparents is white. Didn't learn that until a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So go on.
When you see my father, you know he's half. And you see it, right? And but he never got a chance to meet his dad. So that part of is kind of missing.
Right.
But, you know, Blackness spiritually is everything. You know, when you close your eyes, what do you see? When you're in the womb, what's around you? Blackness or darkness is self-created. Light, you need something to create light with. You need some friction, you need something but Blackness is self-created. To be at one in darkness is to truly be at peace. Because, you know, when you're young, you're a kid, it's hard to, you know, be comfortable when it's dark. You don't feel safe when it's dark. So if you can find that peace in darkness, you've found true peace. So Blackness, as a people, we represent the totality of everything, and we represent peace just because we are the source of everything. And it's not about shade and color. It's about the source of everything is Blackness.
Thank you. That was fantastic. That was amazing.
But I do got a rhyme for you.
Please spit a rhyme.
Specifically for you, though.
Oh, let's do it.
So let me preface this by saying I wrote this rhyme in 1991.
Okay.
Right, 91, 92, something like that. I was reading Introduction to African Civilization by John Jackson.
Okay.
I was reading Nile Valley Civilization by Dr. Ben and Black Athena by Martin Bernal.
Okay.
Right, so I was reading those three books and the Bible.
Okay.
I was on a bus trip from Jersey to Tallahassee, Florida. So I had a lot of time on my hand. I'm going through these books, and some things kind of hit me. Like, it was like right there in my face. Like, oh, shit. And I wrote it in rhyme. Truth is stranger than fiction, the frictions in the diction. Truth is shaped by depiction, contradiction. The truth is embedded in the past, crushed to ash, but the truth always rises, so the honest will outlast. Case in point, like my pencil, history's the issue. They use the past to wipe their ass and flush it away like tissue. The truth is like comedic, Black in their genetics. Moses owes us, TV slows us, keeps us from inherit. Noah had 3 sons, the black one of which was Ham. Pronounce the H like a guttural K, you see the word spells Ham. Ham, comedic. Shit gets pathetic. My mom was dead, the books I read help me to resurrect it. Check it, I got it from the Bible. You call me a liar, I'll sue your ass and smack you up with libel. Go further down the line to the first invasions. Egypt was black, Kemet was sacked by a group of Asians. Brothers now was fed. They was having heads. 500 years of foreign rule. Kemet was damn near dead. What to do? What to do? Oust the son of a bitches. They kicked them out their schools, took back their land and their riches. Holy Moses owes us. Where did he get the gold? 10 commandments on a scroll? Another lie they told. 10 of 147 negative confessions. Killing a person happened to be one of the transgressions. An Egyptian dead, Moses fled. Don't you see the point? He came back with God on his side and then he robbed the joint. God's chosen people, but aren't we all equal? This only breeds concepts of theft and other thoughts of evil. God's chosen people are people who choose God, embrace the concepts of life. Yo, it's not that hard. Respect. Salute.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, if you like what you saw today, be sure to check out more Touré Show content right here. Don't forget to click that subscribe button for more Touré Show content every week.